9:42 p.m. The clock on Claire West's microwave blinked in the dark kitchen, green digits ticking toward the hour Dahlia was supposed to come home. The house sat quiet, the kind of stillness that settles just before a storm rolls in. Her dog, Murphy, paced by the front door like he knew something was off. Dahlia West should have walked through that door by now. Instead, she vanished into the misty night air of Fairhaven, Oregon, leaving behind a backpack, a voicemail, and a town that would never be the same. Earlier that day. It had been just another Wednesday. The sky hung heavy over Fairhaven, clouds layered like bruises over the Pacific Northwest. Dahlia West, 17 years old with a brain full of facts and a camera full of secrets, stepped out of her last period, AP Photography. She was the kind of girl teachers loved and classmates respected, though perhaps not always liked. A little too observant. A little too good at seeing what people didn't want to be seen. Same time tomorrow, her teacher, Mr. Lennox, asked as she packed up. She nodded, tucking her camera strap over her shoulder. If I don't win that portfolio contest, I want a recount. He laughed, but something flickered in her eyes, an unease, maybe. Like she knew something wasn't quite right. 9:17 p.m., the walk begins. Dahlia turned onto Oakwood Avenue, phone in hand, earbuds in place. Her playlist, moody indie tracks, melancholic with a hint of rebellion. Typical for a girl who kept her heart on lockdown and her secrets alphabetized. Streetlights buzzed overhead. Moths danced in their halos. Fairhaven's charm was deceptive: gingerbread houses, flowering dogwoods, and porch swings that hadn't swung in years. But under the surface, this town had shadows. 2 blocks from Lincoln High, she stopped. Looked over her shoulder. A silver sedan idled at the curb. She kept walking. 9:31 p.m., a glitch in the pattern. She should have been home by 9:42. That was the routine. Dahlia lived by routines, especially since her father left last year. A walk, a snack, a check-in with her mom, maybe some editing before bed. But something felt different. Her phone buzzed, a text from unknown number. You see more than you should. She frowned, slowed her pace, and glanced around. Just houses and silence. Another buzz. We see you too. She turned in a full circle. No footsteps. No wind. Just that silver sedan, still behind her, creeping at a crawl. She crossed the street. The car kept pace, headlights dim. 9:37 p.m., the last witness. A neighbor, Mrs. Tansley, watering her chrysanthemums late, as she did every Wednesday, saw Dahlia cross Hawthorne Lane. She remembered the red backpack, the dark jeans, the purposeful walk. Like she was trying not to run, she would later tell police. But she was scared. I could see it. Tansley almost called out, but didn't. She would carry that guilt for months. 9:41 p.m., the voicemail. Claire West was cleaning the kitchen, humming a song Dahlia hated, Fleetwood Mac's Dreams. Her phone lit up. It was Dahlia's number. She answered. Just static. Then, something. Barely audible. A low, raspy inhale. Then a sharp exhale, almost mechanical. Like a breath being dragged through static. And something else, clicking. Then the line went dead. She tried calling back. No answer. 10:15 p.m., panic blooms. Claire texted. Called. Texted again. Where are you? You're late. Are you okay? Nothing. By 10:41 p.m., she received a voicemail from Dahlia's number. It was 6 seconds long. The audio, static. A whisper that may have said, don't. Or maybe just the wind. Claire played it 20 times. Cried harder each time. 11:12 p.m., the search begins. The Fairhaven Police Department, a 3-story building that still smelled faintly of coffee and mildew, took the call. Teenage girl. 17. High GPA. No prior incidents. Walked home and didn't show up. Officer Travis Morley raised an eyebrow. Run away? Claire's voice cut like glass. My daughter doesn't run away. Morley scribbled something on his pad. Then, let's check the traffic cams. They pulled footage from a street camera near Pine and Baker. There, at 9:36 p.m., was Dahlia, crossing the intersection. And behind her, a shadow. No face, just a blur. The silver sedan wasn't visible. Thursday, 7:04 a.m., the drain. A jogger found it. Dahlia's phone, face down in a storm drain, 2 blocks from her school. The screen was cracked. It was still recording. Police retrieved the audio file, 52 minutes and 11 seconds long. Most of it, white noise. But at the 12-minute mark, she took photos of everything, said Nina, her best friend since kindergarten. But not like selfies. She liked abandoned buildings. Empty rooms. Things that looked like someone had just left. She was obsessed with secrets, said Milo, from Yearbook Club. She once told me, a good photo doesn't just show you something. It hints at what's missing. That scared me, honestly. The deeper the police looked, the less they found. Her online life was clean. Her room? Meticulously organized. Her laptop? Encrypted. Password protected and locked down like Fort Knox. The theories begin. The first 48 hours passed in a fog of speculation. The media pounced. Fairhaven teen vanishes without a trace. Was Dahlia West targeted? The missing girl who loved shadows. Reddit threads erupted. Locals theorized everything from serial killers to cults to rogue government operatives. Hashtag Find Dahlia trended by noon Friday. Then, someone leaked the audio from the storm drain recording. The scream. The phrase, "You weren't supposed to look." That was the match. The internet ignited. Claire's descent. Claire West refused to be a grieving mother. She became something else, part detective, part warrior, part ghost herself. She canvassed neighborhoods with flyers. She interviewed Dahlia's classmates. She hacked into her daughter's cloud storage and found something strange, a hidden folder titled, The Others. Inside, grainy photos. People looking at the camera. Or rather, past it. Eyes wide. Terrified. One photo was time-stamped just 2 nights before Dahlia vanished. In it, she stood in the school hallway mirror, snapping a photo. Behind her, a figure in a dark hoodie. No face. No reflection. The timeline narrows. Investigators zeroed in on 3 key details. The silver sedan. Unregistered. No plates. Showed up 3 times in the week before Dahlia vanished, always near Lincoln High. The unknown number. Burned phone. Last pinged 2 miles outside town. The recording. Audio specialists confirmed, no natural cause for the distortion. At minute 23 of the storm drain audio, a mechanical hum emerges, cyclical, like a machine warming up. Then, the eye is open now. No one knew what that meant. But on the forums, the phrase spread like wildfire. The conspiracy web. By the end of that week, everyone had a theory. The glitch theory. Dahlia uncovered a simulation error, a flaw in reality. She saw behind the curtain. The echo room theory. She was taken to a hidden space in town, a Cold War-era bunker converted into something else. The eye theory. A secret group operates in Fairhaven. Their symbol is an eye. Their goal? Unknown. Their victims? Lost. Claire hated the internet for feeding these rumors. But one part stuck with her. In a Reddit AMA, a user named ObsidianGlass22 wrote, "If she found the eye, she's not missing. She's watching now." Then came the letter. 10 days after Dahlia vanished, Claire received an envelope with no return address. Inside, a single photograph. Dahlia, looking straight at the camera, eyes wide. She wasn't smiling. Behind her, bare concrete walls. Fluorescent lights. A shadow in the shape of a man, but impossibly tall. Scrawled on the back. She saw too much. But not everything. The silence deepens. No ransom. No more voicemails. No further sightings. But Fairhaven had changed. People locked their doors earlier. Parents walked their kids to school. Security cameras sold out. And at night, if you stood at Pine and Baker around 9:36 p.m., you might hear something. Static. A breath. Or the quiet click of a shutter. Claire's final note for the press. 1 month after her daughter disappeared, Claire West gave a single interview. She looked tired. Hollow. But fierce. She wasn't a runaway, Claire said. She was a witness. Then she leaned into the mic and whispered. "And I hope whoever took her knows. I'm watching them too." Small towns always seem innocent, until someone goes missing. Then every face looks a little more suspicious. That's what Detective Mason Clark thought as he pulled into Fairhaven, population 11,402, give or take whoever had vanished that week. The sun hadn't even risen over the fog-drenched coast when he parked outside the local precinct. Beside him in the passenger seat, Detective Rosa Vega sipped lukewarm gas station coffee like it was fine wine. "Think this is just another teenage runaway?" she asked, not sounding convinced. "No," Mason replied flatly. "Too many shadows for that." Day 1, the assignment. Mason Clark didn't like small towns. By the time they arrived, the town had already split into two camps, those who believed Dahlia had run away and those who believed something had taken her. And almost nobody trusted the police to figure out which. The first stop was Lincoln High. Alan Trask, 43, artsy-bearded and bespectacled, taught advanced photography and a summer film elective that no one liked but everyone took. His classroom smelled of fixer fluid, burnt coffee, and adolescent anxiety. "She wasn't here that night," he told them, voice steady but flat. "I mark attendance meticulously. It's part of my routine." Vega narrowed her eyes. "You sure?" "I double-checked the log." But 3 students in that same class, Nina Wu, Milo Raines, and a junior named Camden Blake, told a different story. "She was there," Milo said. "She came in late. Didn't even unpack her gear. She kept checking the window," added Nina. "I thought she was waiting for someone. Or hiding from someone." Camden just shrugged. "She looked freaked out. Like she knew something bad was coming. So why would Trask say she wasn't there?" That was their first red flag. The second red flag came in pixels. Dahlia's iCloud account, accessed by her mother under police supervision, contained a hidden, encrypted folder labeled Obscura. Inside were over 200 photos. None of them were selfies. None were posed. Every one was taken from a distance. Through windows. Across parking lots. Behind fences. A pattern emerged, a black van. Mid-90s Dodge Ram. Unmarked. No plates visible. First photo dated back 3 weeks before her disappearance. It was parked outside the school. Then outside a convenience store. Then by the edge of the woods. The same van appeared in 3 other students' random photos from school events, always in the background. Always at night. "Creepy as hell," Vega muttered, flipping through the photos. Mason agreed. But what struck him most was the photo Dahlia didn't upload, the final one. Timestamped the night she disappeared, 9:38 p.m. Blurry. But you could just make out a figure standing next to the van. Not driving. Just standing there. Watching. The whispers started 2 days later. An anonymous user on a local message board posted a grainy photo from 1996, Polaroid, sepia tone. In it, a similar van parked near Bay Hill Creek, with a child's bicycle lying just yards away. Underneath it, just one word, return. The Bay Hill Vanisher. A boogeyman from the 1990s. Linked to 3 unsolved disappearances over 6 years. 2 kids, 1 young woman. All vanished without a trace near the old logging roads of Bay Hill County, just 30 minutes from Fairhaven. The legend went dormant after 1999. No one had seen the van since. Until now. Camden Blake reached out privately. I didn't tell you everything, he admitted. Because I didn't want to sound crazy. Mason leaned forward. We've already passed crazy. Camden hesitated. Then, a week before she disappeared, Dahlia told me she thought someone was watching her. Following her. Who? She didn't know. She just said, it's not a person. It's a presence. Like something crawling behind the scenes. He showed them a text Dahlia had sent the night before she vanished. There's something in this town. Something old. Hidden. It's waking up again. She had attached a photo. A mural from the abandoned Bay Hill sawmill, a crude painting of an eye. The same eye that had appeared in her secret photo folder. Digging through school records, Vega discovered an unsettling fact. Lincoln High sat on the ruins of the original Bay Hill military outpost, a base decommissioned in 1951 and quietly razed in 1972. Before it was torn down, the base was reportedly used for experimental communications research. Files were classified, of course. But a Freedom of Information Act request turned up one phrase repeated in old transcripts. Project Watchlight. Theories online were immediate and unhelpful. Mind control. Cold War surveillance. Interdimensional monitoring. But to Mason, it all felt too deliberate. What if Dahlia hadn't just found the eye? What if someone had shown it to her? Local businesses along Dahlia's route home were canvassed for security footage. Most cameras were too old or too cheap to be useful. But one, the liquor store on Hawthorne, caught something. 9:34 p.m. Dahlia walking quickly. Red backpack. Hair in a loose braid. She glances behind her, 3 times. Then, headlights. A van turns the corner behind her. No plates. No headlights. It coasts past the liquor store. Then the footage glitches. For 2.6 seconds, the screen distorts into static and streaks of color, then returns. The van is gone. Dahlia is gone. The times, some swore they saw the van late at night, idling at intersections before disappearing. A group of teens claimed they saw an eye painted on the door of the old Bay Hill church, but by morning it was gone. Someone lit a candle vigil outside Lincoln High. Someone else spray-painted, "She knew too much," on the school's gym wall. And behind it all, the eye stared. Mason and Vega returned to Trask's classroom with sharper questions. "Why did you lie?" Mason asked flatly. Trask looked haggard. Less defensive, more resigned. "I didn't lie," he said quietly. "I was told not to say she was there." "By who?" Pause. Then, "I don't know. It was a voicemail. Blocked number. They said if I wanted to stay out of it, I should erase the log. So I did." "And you didn't call the police?" "I thought she had run away. I thought it was over." His hands shook as he handed them a flash drive. I found this on my desk. No note. It was a photo. Dahlia, standing in the hallway mirror at school. Same as the one Claire had received. But in this version, her eyes were blacked out. Not edited. Burned. On a foggy Tuesday night, the black van returned. A Fairhaven deputy spotted it parked behind the public library. When approached, it sped off down Bay Hill Road, narrowly avoiding a collision with a street sweeper. The next morning, an envelope was found in the precinct mailbox. Inside, 3 things. A flash drive with audio, Dahlia's voice, whispering, "You're not supposed to hear this." A Polaroid of her backpack, sitting in an empty room. A message, written in ink that shimmered metallic red. She isn't gone. She's inside. 1 week later, Mason and Vega received an anonymous tip. Coordinates. They led to a collapsed basement beneath the Bay Hill sawmill ruins. There, beneath rubble and vines, they discovered a sealed steel door. No handle. No keyhole. Just a black glass circle embedded in the center, shaped like an eye. When touched, it pulsed red. And a sound began, barely audible. A low hum. A mechanical breath. Just like the voicemail. Vega stepped back. "Whatever this is," she whispered, "it was never just an abduction." Sometimes, the truth doesn't come from the police, it comes from a 15-second tick-tock. 3 weeks. That's how long it had been since Dahlia West vanished. In Fairhaven, hope had curdled into dread. Missing posters faded under the rain. Candle vigils turned into conspiracy boards. And the police? Still, actively investigating, which in small-town language meant we have no idea. But on day 22, the case cracked not with a knock on a door, but with a swipe of a thumb. The tick-tock that changed everything. At Asher.Wheeler_ was a junior at Fairhaven High and an amateur drone enthusiast with more followers than friends. On a cloudy Thursday afternoon, he uploaded a TikTok with the caption, "Just vibin' with this sunset. Nature's undefeated, sunrise over mountains flying saucer." 15 seconds of peaceful time-lapse footage, clouds shifting like ghosts over the hills behind town, trees swaying, the light softening into orange. And then, in the final second, something else. A figure. Standing at the tree line. Still. Rigid. And beside him, unmistakable, chilling in its familiarity, a black van. It was subtle. Easy to miss. But Claire West didn't. She'd watched the video 40 times before she sat up, eyes wide, adrenaline surging. The man in the video wasn't just any man. He had a limp. His right leg dragging, a rhythm Claire hadn't heard in 5 years. She knew it immediately. David Mercer, she whispered. A name she hadn't spoken aloud since the day he vanished. Formerly a handyman in Fairhaven, David Mercer was the kind of man who fixed things that weren't broken and smiled without using his eyes. In 2018, Dahlia had confided in her mother about a man who kept appearing near her school bus stop. Sometimes at the grocery store. Once, inside the library just, standing. Watching. It was Mercer. Claire reported him twice. Each time, he was questioned but released. Then came a restraining order, filed after Mercer allegedly left an envelope of Polaroids in the West's mailbox. Photos of Dahlia, taken from a distance. 1 week later, Mercer vanished. No forwarding address. No sightings. Just gone. Until now. TikTok turned into a digital wildfire. Within hours, users traced the van's blurry license plate using enhancements that made every retired CSI actor proud. An open-source vehicle registration search returned a name, John Carrick. But John Carrick didn't exist. Not really. The alias was linked to a P.O. box in rural Oregon and a fake ID purchased under the table in Idaho. Behind the mask, David Mercer. The black van? Recently registered. Paid in cash. The cops didn't knock this time. They rammed the door. 18 miles from Fairhaven, hidden behind dense forestry and a crumbling fence line, Mercer's cabin sat like a bad memory, low-slung, sagging, and silent. Inside, chaos. Stacks of newspapers. Empty food cans. Surveillance photos pinned to the walls. A board with names: Claire, Dahlia, Trask, Milo, Nina. Under Dahlia's name, circled twice in red. In the kitchen drawer, rope, zip ties, and a hunting knife. Then, in the basement. A room with no windows. Soundproofed. One mattress, stained. 2 chains bolted into the floor. And lying in the corner, almost like it had been left behind in a rush, one of Dahlia's sneakers. Size 7. Red laces. The same pair she was last seen wearing. But no Dahlia. She wasn't there. No blood. No body. No fingerprints. The walls were clean. Too clean. Mercer had disappeared again. But he'd left behind more than he realized. Tucked beneath the floorboards, investigators found 4 cassette tapes. Old school, unmarked, labeled only by Roman numerals. They were audio diaries. The voice was unmistakable. Gruff. Low. Mercer. Tape 1. They don't see it. They never did. The town is blind. But she wasn't. She saw the patterns. She knew what the eye was. Tape 2. She asked too many questions. Took too many pictures. But I watched her. Protected her. From it. Tape 3. She opened it. The thing beneath. She let it in. Now she's not just a girl anymore. Tape 4. She's gone. Not dead. Not missing. Just, somewhere between. I can't reach her now. None of us can. Mason played the tapes again and again. I think he's telling the truth, he said. Vega shook her head. Truth or psychosis, at this point, I'm not sure it matters. Claire listened to the tapes. Then smashed the tape player. But something in Mercer's words clung to her. The between. She went back to Dahlia's hidden folder, Obscura, looking for anything she missed. And she found it. One final image. Heavily distorted. Glitched. As if corrupted. But when run through forensic software, it resolved into something more sinister. Dahlia's face. Staring through a window. But the glass wasn't reflecting her. It was reflecting us. Claire whispered to herself, she's trying to send us something. Mason and Vega revisited the school mirror photo, the one burned around Dahlia's eyes. They had it enhanced. In the reflection, behind her shoulder, something had gone unnoticed. Not a person. A shape. Geometric. Spinning. Like a camera shutter opening in reverse. Like an eye. And a phrase scrawled faintly in the corner. Watchlight doesn't protect us. It traps us. It wasn't a message for them. It was a warning for her. Hashtag Where is Dahlia began trending again. TikTokers analyzed the tapes. Reddit threads connected Mercer's Thing Beneath to native legends of the in-between man, a shapeshifter said to exist between dimensions. Podcasts featured local psychics. Some claimed Dahlia had crossed a veil. Others insisted it was a cult. One anonymous Reddit user, VisionSplit93, posted, "She's not missing. She's observing. And if she ever returns, she won't be the same." Then came the second van. Same model. Same color. But this one had plates. Spotted 2 towns over. Parked outside an old mining tunnel. No driver inside. Just a note on the windshield. You keep chasing the van. The eye watches you now. Mason stood over the note, his hand twitching toward his holstered weapon. Vega pulled out her phone. The next chapter isn't about finding Mercer, she said. It's about what found Dahlia. That night, Claire uploaded a video. Not a press interview. Not a plea. Just a shaky phone recording. She stood at the edge of the woods, flashlight in hand, facing the direction of Mercer's cabin. Her voice cracked. If you're out there. If you can still see us. Come home. Don't let it keep you. You're stronger than it. You always were. Then she turned the flashlight off. And behind her, just for a moment. A reflection. Not in a mirror. In the lens itself. A girl's face. Watching. If David Mercer took her, where was she now? And why did he wait 5 years to come back? That was the question echoing through every police briefing, every news segment, every fevered post under #DahliaWestLives. If Mercer was the monster in the dark, why did he bring her back into the light? Unless he didn't. David Mercer wouldn't speak. Not to detectives. Not to lawyers. Not even to the press, who circled like vultures around the county jail. He sat in his cell with eerie stillness, staring at the far wall. Like he was watching something that no one else could see. 3 psychologists tried to crack him. None succeeded. Then came Dr. Laurel Penn, a prison therapist specializing in trauma-based compulsions. She wasn't interested in interrogating him. She listened. And slowly, Mercer began to talk. It wasn't what they expected. Mercer's first. Dr. Penn leaned in. And where does that door lead? Nowhere you want to go. The eye doesn't sleep. It sees through everything, through time, through skin. She looked too long. It noticed. She asked about the tapes. Mercer only said, I left them so you'd know, she's not the first. And she won't be the last. 3 hours after Mercer's cryptic confession, the Fairhaven Police Department received a 911 call from Astoria, Oregon, nearly 100 miles north. A woman, late 50s, lived alone in a craftsman home on a wooded bluff. She reported that 2 nights earlier, during a thunderstorm, a young woman had appeared on her front porch, soaked, trembling, barefoot. She had collapsed before giving a name. The woman took her in, assuming she was a runaway or domestic violence victim. But now she was seeing the girl's face on the news. Dahlia West. Claire West arrived in Astoria 2 hours later. She didn't wait for police protocol. She didn't wait for statements or red tape. She ran into the hospital room and threw her arms around her daughter. But Dahlia didn't move. Didn't cry. Didn't even blink. She sat curled in the corner of the hospital bed like a forgotten doll, thin, pale, and mute. Her eyes tracked nothing. No recognition. No fear. No comfort. Just vacancy. Claire broke down in the hallway, her sobs echoing off sterile tiles. She's here, she kept repeating, but she's not here. Doctors ran every test they could think of, tox screens, MRIs, trauma evaluations. Physically, Dahlia was malnourished but stable. No broken bones. No head trauma. No physical evidence of abuse. But neurologically? A different story. Brain scans showed heightened activity in the precuneus, a region associated with visual memory, consciousness, and self-reflection. The doctors said it was unusual. Dr. Penn said it was deeply concerning. She described it as like her mind is trapped inside itself, staring at something it can't unsee. For days, Dahlia didn't speak. Claire sat beside her, reading aloud, playing music, holding her hand. Nothing helped. Then, on the fifth night, as rain tapped the hospital windows like a metronome from another world, Dahlia stirred. She turned toward her mother for the first time. Her lips parted. And she whispered, voice dry and hoarse. There was someone else. That phrase broke the air like ice cracking on a lake. Claire leaned in. Who, baby? Who else was there? But Dahlia shut down again. Eyes unfocused. Lips sealed. The phrase became the new obsession. There was someone else. Mason Clark and Rosa Vega reviewed every detail Mercer had given in his sessions. He never said, just her. He spoke in plural. They find us when we see too much. She's not the first. And now, there was someone else. Had someone else been taken? At the same time? Or before? Police scoured missing persons cases within a 150-mile radius. And they found one. Juno Watts, 19, disappeared from a commune near Eugene 2 years prior. A fringe artist, known for strange mixed media installations that often included eyes, spirals, and coded language. The commune reported her missing, but no one ever followed up. On her website, her final blog post read, "Some doors don't open. They stare back." She hadn't been heard from since. And she looked almost exactly like one of the faces in Dahlia's Obscura photo folder, captured in the corner of a mirror, distorted, eyes wide. Had Dahlia been tracking other victims? Or, others like her? Slowly, Dahlia began to return. Not completely. But in fragments. She began sketching. Spirals. Overlapping shapes. A black circle with lashes like teeth. Claire kept every drawing. One day, Dahlia handed her mother a torn page from a notebook. Written in blocky, uneven handwriting. I saw myself outside of myself. Then I wasn't me anymore. But she still was. Claire turned it over. On the back, a name. Juno. Dr. Penn visited Mercer one last time before he was transferred to federal custody. She asked him directly, "Who's Juno?" Mercer's expression changed. His voice dropped. She was the first to find the signal. The frequency in the dark. Did you take her too? Mercer didn't blink. They did. I just watched. Like I always do. Who are they, David? He looked at her. For the first time, directly. The eye. The between. The watchers. Different names, same stare. They don't take bodies. They take versions. And then he laughed. Not loud. Not mad. Just, knowingly. But Dahlia? Dahlia brought one back. In the hills near Astoria, a teenager posted another TikTok. A short video of the road near the cliffs. At the 12-second mark, far in the distance, another van. But this one wasn't black. It was white. And on its side, spray-painted in red. There's always someone else. It wasn't just Mercer. He lived like one. Spoke like one. Hid like one. But monsters don't always hide under beds. Sometimes, they sit behind desks. Grading your papers. Smiling with too many teeth. Dahlia West didn't speak for weeks. She drifted through reality like a ghost in her own skin. Her eyes didn't settle on people, they scanned them. Measured them. As if looking for lies beneath the flesh. But then one afternoon, something shifted. A detective dropped a photo on her hospital tray. David Mercer. Booking photo. Blank stare. Limp. Is this the man who took you? Dahlia stared at it. Then, slowly, carefully, she shook her head. No. And with that one word, the entire case came undone. Claire West sat in a folding chair as her daughter spoke at last. Dahlia's voice was raw, quiet, but clear. Every syllable sounded like it had been excavated from someplace deep inside her. Mercer was part of it, she said. But he didn't take me. He didn't even plan it. Then who did? Asked Detective Vega. Dahlia didn't hesitate. Mr. Trask. The room fell silent. Alan Trask was the teacher students trusted. He stayed after class. Wrote glowing letters of recommendation. Told awkward kids they had potential. To everyone else, he was a harmless art nerd. To Dahlia, he was the eye behind the lens. Always watching. Always a little too close. A little too encouraging. He made me feel seen, she told police. But not in the right way. He commented on her Instagram posts. Recommended dark photo books about surveillance and identity loss. Asked her to stay after class, just to talk. And then he started dropping Mercer's name. Be careful walking home. That creep's still around. Did you see the van again? I worry about you. You're too smart to get caught up in someone else's sickness. Planting the seed. He made her afraid of Mercer. So he could protect her from him. Dahlia knew something was wrong the moment Trask started asking about her Obscura folder. She had never told anyone about it. She hadn't even uploaded it to the cloud. He referenced photos that weren't public, angles only someone tailing her would know. That's when she realized, he was watching her before Mercer ever showed up. So she played along. She pretended to be scared. She let him comfort her. She told him she was seeing things and losing track of time. It was the bait she knew he'd bite. And then she disappeared. The storm-drained phone. The distorted voicemail. The scream. All real. But part of it was a setup. Before that night, Dahlia left clues. Tiny details in her photos, metadata, reflections, hidden timestamps. In one school hallway mirror selfie, she subtly captured Trask's reflection, and the camera in his hand. In another, she wrote, Trask, across a brick wall in chalk, just faint enough to miss, unless you were looking. She knew if anything happened to her, these photos would be found. She left a trail. She made herself the lens through which others would see. Mercer had been manipulated. A pawn with a history of obsession. Unstable, yes. Dangerous, probably. But not a mastermind. Trask fed him stories. They're watching you. She needs help. You're the only one who sees it. Mercer believed it. And when Dahlia disappeared, Trask made sure all signs pointed to him. So when police found the tapes in Mercer's cabin, they thought they had their man. But Dahlia had outplayed them both. Trask didn't flinch when officers entered his classroom during fourth period. He smiled as they cuffed him. Like he still thought he was ahead of the game. His students stared, some crying, some frozen. He didn't say a word. But when they searched his home, the truth finally surfaced. His house was clean. Too clean. But his basement was not. Behind a false wall was a private office. On the shelves, journals dating back over 10 years. On the desk, a row of USB drives. On the corkboard, photos of students, candid, unauthorized, uncomfortably close. At the top of the list, Dahlia West. The USB drives contained hours of footage. Not just of Dahlia, but of Trask speaking into the camera. Entry 12. She's the perfect subject. Controlled, intelligent, curious. She sees more than the others. Entry 17. The Mercer narrative is nearly complete. A believable villain. A disposable one. Entry 21. She left a clue. I didn't see it until too late. The girl is better than I thought. Entry 22. The eye needs witnesses. I just arranged the introductions. Police paused the tape. The eye? They rewound. Listened again. He said it casually. Like it was a name. A partner. A presence. Trask wasn't just running a grooming operation. He believed in something. Something watching. Something real. Dahlia's final state. She paused. Then added. I think someone else did. Buried in Trask's notes was a logo, a stylized eye, identical to the one in Dahlia's mirror photo. And a word, watchlight. Same as the Cold War project Mercer once referenced. Same as the term Dahlia had whispered months before. One journal page read. Watchlight never ended. It changed hands. Went private. They still run simulations. Still test subjects. Schools are ideal. Controlled environments. Patterns of behavior. The goal isn't obedience. The goal is exposure. Police shared the files with federal investigators. The files disappeared. Late one night, Claire sat beside her daughter again, in their own home this time. Dahlia still didn't smile much. Didn't sleep deeply. But she looked more there. Claire asked the one question she had avoided for weeks. What did he want from you? Dahlia turned to her. He didn't want me. He wanted my mind. Why? Because I saw it. The thing behind everything. And I didn't run from it. What is it, sweetheart? The eye. Dahlia blinked. And now it sees you too. Dahlia West survived. But her story isn't just about survival. It's about how monsters wear masks, and heroes are made when no one's watching. Trask is currently serving 2 life sentences. Mercer died by suicide in prison. Dahlia now lives under a new name in an undisclosed location, and her case is taught in criminal psychology courses across the country. Fairhaven learned its lesson. Sometimes, the scariest part isn't the van in the shadows. It's the smile in the hallway.